Hey, soul survivors, I have a reply to a viewer, and it's going to kind of explain a little bit about the meaning of what my video was about the glass half empty, glass half full, and the perspective. So he says, yes, there are subjective opinions, but there's also objective fact. So he is correct. There's things that we subjectify our thoughts versus objective things on the outside. So he goes, we can't state concretely that the glass is half empty or half full unless we observe it being emptied or filled, which is totally correct. Also, in our life, we are missing certain information. So we can sit there searching and searching, or we can take what we see subjectively sometimes. Sometimes you need to do that because you're not going to get all the information. So he goes, if you fill a glass with water and then empty 50% of the water, it's half empty. If you take the empty glass, fill it halfway, it's half full. And if you enter a room with a glass that has 50% water, 50% air, and there is no way to determine whether it's most recently filled or most recently emptied, you cannot make a factual statement about the glass other than it is half filled with water and half filled with air. There are objective truths. So he goes, but I suppose you're entitled to your subjective opinion. It just seems strange to add a bunch of unprovable emotional pseudopsychology and faux, meaning fake spiritualism, to something that has such an obvious concrete reality that conforms to objective truths and widely understood definitions. So the purpose of that video that I did was to show, we're at the halfway mark, and we can have a perspective that is negative, pessimistic, or we can have a perspective that is objective and positive. So we can search for all the information to see, was it filled with water? Was it emptied? All those kind of things. And these are speaking in like an analogy. But when we change our perspective with what we know, we can look at it however we want to look at it. And when it's looking towards our future, we can either bum ourselves out and go down a pessimistic path, or we can stay positive. So the purpose of that video is to just say, this is where we're at. And we can look at it either way. We're never going to know the information. And is it pseudopsychology? The way we shift our mind does affect our lives. So, some people may discount certain things in psychology. I know before I really studied it, even in the beginning when I started studying it, I'm like, this childhood trauma shit. I thought it was a bunch of BS, but when you get into it a little bit more, it makes sense. And some people do get adult traumas. And the people on this channel, most of them have been through some trauma, and it affects your life. So you can either take it either towards the past or towards the future. Work on today and live in the moment. And if you're positive, you'll have a positive future. If you're negative, you're going to still ruminate and use cognitive dissonance. Your mind is not going to heal from the trauma you went through. So it's just a mind shift. And, they talk about manifestation and things like that. It changes the way you speak. And when you change the way you speak to a positive instead of a negative, it affects how people react to you. And if you're positive, they're going to react positively if there's some type of positive, decent relationship. If you're always negative, it's going to bring people down. They're not going to want to be around you. So it's amazing on how your mood, all these things affect the words that you say. And perspective matters. If you're confident within yourself, you tend to stay more healthy. You make wiser choices. If you are depressed about yourself, you tend to make poorer choices. Either you'll say, screw it, I'm just going to have a drink tonight, or I don't care, whatever, a bag of chips. I'm not going to exercise, I'm too tired, or to wait till tomorrow. That the mind shift goes along with how your body is. When your body's in tune, your mind's in tune. And is it pseudopsychology? a mind shift makes a difference. And I get what you're saying. We'll never know, is that glass half empty or half full, unless we have all the information. And even then, do we just accept it if we can't prove it? So even if somebody told, oh, I just poured that. Yeah. We're never going to know for sure, ever. So collecting data that's not ever going to be there, just take the positive perspective, and it leads to a better outcome. So that was the point of that video, is to just say, who cares if it's half empty or half full? We're going to look at it optimistically. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you for that comment. I do understand where you're coming from, but it was meant to show that the mind shift will lead to a better life. And I guarantee that. Unless there's some crazy stuff that happens. But you got to be positive. You know, life's got its ups and downs, and, you know, be as positive as you can. Thanks for watching.